Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. I'm sorry I wasn't able to hang out with you all yesterday. Oh man, Saturday night, I was feeling terrible. I don't know if you saw, I tweeted out and I shared on Discord. I just I don't know, I gave myself some food poisoning or something. It was not good, but I was able to recover from that with some nice amount of sleep on Sunday and feeling a lot better now and ready to go. And so Sunday evening, so last night, I was able to figure out a good path to move forward with the BB ECS, specifically with storing the vector in the component. So I'm actually really happy that I was able to get that, and I'm going to be able to share that with you, because then it means less sort of flailing around today. At least that's the hope, right? So let me go ahead and show you what I've done. I created another branch last night to play around with this that I called vec in component or something like that. And if we go, not fucking Rust, but BBECS, I gutted a lot of this in order to get this work. Another reason for the branch. Basically, if we take a look at our world now, it's got nothing in it anymore. And I've got reminders of what I need to implement. So let's come to entity data, which is where the beginning of this is I have this trait, which I'm not really sure what to name this. Entity data and then something, because these are gonna be the methods. I guess I could name it just methods. But this is where I'm gonna have register and insert, and it's gonna be for each type of data that's going to be used. So for example, we see here we have this register for point. It's register for point, insert for point. I can do query for point. It'll be good in that way. And because of this, because I do register and I know what the type is, I'm able to just insert a brand new empty component, empty vector inside of the hash map right at that moment. And so that gives me, okay, the components vec. If we come over to components, this also needs to be sort of updated quite a bit here. But for example, we have for cast components for this. Now I have a cast mute specifically for inserting, or inserting. So and I think that this is going to work out well for us. So to continue on with this pattern, what I would want to do is forward this on through now. The problem being that I need to now do this trait system for everything. And Tigregalis was mentioning that if I used macros for this, it would make it a lot easier, and I totally understand that would actually help out quite a bit. But if I start here by doing a pub trait, this is gonna be basically the world. Let's try world methods. Maybe that will feel really good. So we're gonna have a function register. World methods is gonna have a type. Okay, so we're going to register. We're going to take in a mutable self and the component type. Let's see. So what is it going to be? So, well, we know it's going to be the point. But at this point, all we need is the name. It's the name, and we're going to make this a string. And we're not going to return anything. So if we do this, so impl world methods for point for world, we implement the missing methods. Notice that this doesn't care about the point, but now we can now run world methods we could run the register method for point off of the world. And so then we're going to want to register. So self dot entity data dot register, and then you're gonna be the name, and that's it there. Do you need, okay, so point, cannot find the point type. Let's go import that. I also moved the point type into just a generic data folder, so that way our data can be shared by resources, by components. It's not sort of in components. I think that's going to make a little bit more sense for us. So the way we're going to update the flocking Rust to sort of handle this now is we need to use this register to register that we're going to have like a point for locations, for example. So if we come to flocking Rust, we'll see that this is not happy in the least. That's totally understandable. There's a lot of problems here. Renamed a lot of stuff, so let's go ahead and fix some of these. We're not going to need the world wrapper anymore. So you're just going to be a world. And okay, so then we're gonna have add resources. This is all fine. Okay, so we need to import a point for you. Then you're all happy all up until we spawn the birds. So then we have these with components. So we have this like spawn entity. I'm actually surprised that this is okay right now. I guess it's running into problems with the component first. Component point new. So I actually like the idea of like with component is gonna be, we're gonna do it per data type also. And that way I can just hand it a new point and it'll be a little bit happier. So let's think about that. Let's do with component and fix that here. So in the world, with component, we're gonna have a mutable self. Quite a bot. Hello, it's looking really awesome. Thank you. We're sort of like in that now making it even better stage. So it's like some refactoring and some changing as we realize like what the changes need to be. Okay, so the component, it's gonna be the type that comes in. So the data is gonna be this type, and then that's pretty much it. We don't really care. I'll probably be coming back, like there's another issue sort of like that I'm working towards, that will be add in error handling properly, and that's when I'll add that in here. For right now, I want to get like the types looking really nice and the interface sort of like feeling good. Okay, so we're gonna we need to add in a new member here. So with component, just for points, so the data is this point that's coming in. We know that it's a point, which makes it actually really nice to work this way. So it's like halfway, like in my mind, I know it's still working with generics, but halfway it's not generics in my mind. It's weird like how I'm having to think about it. So with component is now adding in a component to, what is it? It's you know what, with component does need to return something. It needs to return a mutable self like that. So at the very end, we're going to return self. Okay, so for this data, I need to insert, and it's a point, but you know what? We also need the component's name, don't we? So string. So we need this to come in. So we do need that. Once I have the name and the string, we can do an insert into, let's see, still gonna have self there. We're gonna do self dot entity data dot insert. Okay, so here's the name. I don't actually need it to be a full string. Be that. And then the data, which is this point in this case. And then we return self. So that makes, okay, that makes that happy. Let's head back to the library here. So component, we need the name. So component names location. So in this case, like we could just make it like a location string. I kind of like the idea of like keeping these, but I'll probably be doing something like .0. I don't know if that makes sense. So if I come over to location, I actually want you to be like location. Or maybe like a getter to like to string or something like that. I don't know. Oh, right. Okay, hold on. I think what I could do, there's a way to like, let's say impl component names, and we'll like do a get names or like toString, maybe. Or maybe even like an into. Right, because we could do an into or a toString. Let's do a toString. Let's do like a toString. So function. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. It's not going to take self because this is going to be just done as we're doing the component names. Oh, is that true? So, because it's going to have to be like component names, location toString. I don't like that very much either. I know there is a way that there is something out there. There's some package, a crate that I can use that will like auto convert these to the strings. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. That would be really nice to use. I may just remove this though temporarily and use, unless I can like implement into. What would that look like? Impl into, I guess it would be something like string or component names. Into self to string. Okay, so then we're gonna match self. Okay, so if we're location, we're gonna return location. Velocity. Now these are not to string, is it? These are then to owned. Okay. So if I do that now, can I do the same exact thing? So impl into. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it'll be able to handle string slice. Maybe, probably not. Okay, so if I do this location, can I just do an into now, like that? So that gives me the name. So with component, gets name and this entire thing. Okay. So With component has an incapable type for trait, expected function pointer. Right, you need to be a stir. Okay, so component. I actually don't want to pass in a new component. We just want a new point. All right, so that handles this. Okay, so component. Okay, so with component, then it's just this F32. Okay, so now we have to handle the component for F32s. So we should just be able to do 0.0 here. Surprised it's not yelling at me more about the other thing. World wrapper, right, you don't exist anymore. You're now a world. Okay, can I find type component and module BB ECS component? All right, so get nearby indexes, which is taking in this entire stuff, right? And component is now like a components, because it's slightly different now. I kind of wonder how I want to deal with this because it's going to be different. We're going to have a vector, so get nearby indexes. Now we're going to have a vec of, oh, I guess it's going to be a components. Now it's going to be components. Same thing for you. Just going to have components. Now, I don't know if it's owned or not at this point in time, so we'll have to sort of see about that. Okay, so traction, you become components, point is not there, there's no world wrapper, so you're going to be a world, that. Okay, so components, the vec is inside the components. This is just the world. Okay, so a vec of points. So we need to pull in point again. Now, I don't know. I'm just trying to make all the errors go away. These may not be the correct fixes for this. Hello, Chantilly. Oh, I've still got like a full thing over my screen. I didn't want that. Hold on. Where's that? That's you. Go away. I just want the one right above my head, not the one covering the entire screen and bothering everybody. Okay, so you go away. World wrapper goes away. Okay, so you become world. And then down here, okay, we have to tell it where point comes from. Okay, so you go there, and then you are just a world. All right, draw bird system. So now component names. Right, this entire thing, we don't need you anymore. It's just, you're just a normal world. So we don't need you all. Don't need you. So down here for points, import point. Okay, so then there's no world mapper. World mapper? World wrapper. So we have world. Okay, so world. All right, we're back into the library. Okay, so now we can start working on this. So we have this add resource, no method name, add resource. Okay, so we need to start adding some of these in. Now I'm thinking, I'm trying to think, do we need to do the exact same thing that we're doing here? Where we have like add resource. Also for resource names, we have this like background color. We're gonna have to do the same thing. We're gonna have to do something like .into for this. To give it like the string that it's going to go into. So we're gonna have to do impl into string for resource names. We're gonna return match self, and for each of these, wonder if I can do, okay, I'll do. All right, so forward one line, copy you, go to the end, delete you. No, not exactly that. It'll be this, that to owned, comma. All right, so that will turn all those into strings. Okay, so we need to add resource for the world. In order to do an add resource, how are we going to do this? I wonder if I can do this right here. Resources, I don't think I've touched yet. So we have this insert, and we have like the name, which is a string. And the resource, which is whatever resource it's going to be. Now, I could do the impl for each one, and it would be fine. I also don't have to. I could just remain doing this entire thing. Maybe for right now, let's do that, and we can refactor that later. Once I like verify that everything's still working. Okay, so we're gonna do I guess it would make sense if I'm already doing this for each data types. It's like we have point. This would be for what? It would be for color. So we have width component. We're also going to do insert resource. Is that what I called it? Add resource. Add resource. Mutable self. We need the name, which is a string. We need the data, which is type T. And I don't think we're going to return anything. Yeah, that just sort of seems to end there. So coming down to here for point, we need to update you, add resource. We've taken these. We're going to do a self.resources dot insert. Okay. We have self. We have name is the string. Okay, so that's going to be the name. And then the resource itself. So this is going to be a resource. In this case, a point with data inside. And that's it. That's all we care about. Now we want to do this impl world methods for type. What was this again? This is a color is what we're caring about. So color, world. All right, so now we just have to implement all of these methods. Now this isn't like, as I said, if I were to create a macro for this, it would be so much easier to do because I could just do the macro once. It's pretty simple what we're doing here. It's pretty repetitive. Okay, so register. What are we doing with register? We're doing the entity data register. So it's gonna be self.entity data.register, pass in the name, and that's it. It already knows what type it is because it's inside of here. So it's gonna pass that type on through, I believe. At least I'm hoping that does. Okay, so with components, so adding that in. So self.entitydata.insert, it's going to be the name and the data, which is exactly what we got here. Mismatch types, expected. Okay, so here's where expected to struct point found color. So with component, let's go find entity data. So we have this for point. I now need to do this impl entity data traits for, what was this, a color, I think? Entity data, implement you. Okay, so then we had just register and insert. So register, I'm surprised it didn't yell at me for register. I guess it's because there's really nothing going on here except it needs to know exactly what type it is. And I wonder if I need to like do the : like turbofish syntax for it. I was sort of hoping to figure it out on its own, but I guess if it doesn't, that's okay too. Okay, so we're gonna do a register, self.components. We're gonna just insert. The key is gonna be the name, and then what we're adding in is an RC, a new ref cell, new, okay, I have components. This is gonna be our, we don't even have a color for this yet. Ooh, interesting. So I don't think we've had to do a color. So maybe I'll just do an unimplemented. So far, need to pull in color. If we're not, if that's unimplemented, this is also a to-do, essentially. Doesn't matter. but we can now come back down here and deal with it. So, oh, I think it has figured it out now. Okay, so then you're just yelling at me because I'm not returning self. Register, okay, cannot infer name. So this is gonna be a type color. We know that. Wrong number of type arguments. Expected 0, found 1. Oh no. I was hoping that this would work out just fine. How would that work then? In here. I guess you become color like that. And you would become point like this. And then up here, you become the exact same T. Oh, I was hoping I can say like, hey, no, it's the exact same one. Don't worry about it. It's the exact same one. Well, that's a little bit too bad. Okay, so if you don't like that, we can also know that, okay, so our resource, like our data types, is it really? No, it's the, oh, because like we have resource and we have components. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So let's roll this back a little bit. I don't know how we're gonna do with the other things though. We're gonna run into the same problem. Because this impl entity data traits color. So if I come back to here, we know it's coming in for color. Do I put the type here? That seems weird. Yeah, that's wrong. Okay, hold on. Let me save coming back to this. Type annotations needed. Okay, so when I implement, this is on the world, we're calling you. Can you give me really good suggestions? Field expressions cannot have generic arguments. Okay, so yeah, you're upset about me trying to do this. Fine. It was a bad idea. Tell me what I need to do. Okay, so cannot infer type for parameter T declared on the trait entity data traits. Oh, that's it. It's not going to tell me anything more. Oh, that's too bad. I was really hoping that I would be able to infer it from this. That like, hey, we're implementing world methods color for this, therefore it should be like straight all the way through. But it's not, which is really too bad. I can do an impl color here. I don't know because they're not the same. Conflicted implementations. Yeah, okay. That's not the same. So basically this is when I have color being handed in here. Oh, okay. I was really hoping that this would like just make it so much easier to use, because then what I could do is world add resource and do something like color like that. And then it's just the name and then the new color. So just the background color. That's what I wanted to do. But you're telling me type annotations needed, and I can't do, let's see. I can't do this. Wrong number of type arguments, expected 0, found 1. But yet, if I don't do this, it doesn't know. Do I actually need to have like the type passed in? So like data type is like a point. Like, do I need to do that? Okay, so register here, the data type coming in. You're not upset yet because it's still yelling about this. Okay, so register. How would I do this? Like the data type, like to actually pass in the data type? That seems strange. Like, okay, register, we have the name and like the data type, which is T. The actual type. And I guess now I can do a point here. No, it still wouldn't be able to do a point here probably. Now it wants like the data type, which would be like a point. Which is saying, hey, use struct literal syntax instead. Now I could do register and have a separate component types, like data type. I wonder if that would work out a little bit better. But I also wonder if we're going to run into the same exact problem where it doesn't know what to register unless I don't have register inside of those specific. So what if I remove register from this? What if I remove you from there, which means you're gone from here, you're gone from here. If I do that, then we need a register here. And let's say, okay, we're gonna have like a mute self, but then we also need to know like what is the type? Like what is the actual, in this case, component type that I'm caring about? But that means that under we have components, I'm probably also going to need a hub enum component. And then this would be something like we have a point and F32. Then you're going to be a component. Wait, that's the wrong one. You. I'm not going to return anything. So here what we want to do is we want to say, oh, and we need the name, which is a string. So then we're going to have self dot components dot insert the name, and then the key is going to be an RC new cell new, and then it's going to be the components, which is going to be highly dependent upon what we throw in here. So we'll do let components equals we're going to have to match on component type. If we're a point, then we want to return. Okay, so we're going to do a RC new cell new that you become a brand new components. No, stop bringing in path. Components point with an empty vec inside. And if you're an F32, it's going to be a component F32 with an empty vec inside. Then we're going to throw that in here. Okay, so that's our register. So then in here, okay, so function register for color. So let's reset you a little bit and do an entity data dot register. We're gonna have the name and then the component type. So we'll do component type. You're gonna have to be a component. That and component type right there. And we'll have to do. So in this way, there's no reason to have register outside of here either. I might as well just have register in here. Take out register from the trait and remove register from you. Okay, so you're going to be a pub function register. Oh, you're not default either. You're up here. Okay. So many errors. Lovely. Let's register. No more errors in BBECS, it looks like. Now we're back to you. No errors up here. Okay, so add resource. No method, add resource found in the current scope. Oh, right. Okay, so we have to import the world methods that allows us to add resource. Then we have color. Expected 0. Okay, so wait, you just work like that? Do you auto figure that out? That would be really cool if you do. Okay, so add resource here. Okay, so resource names, bird mesh dot into. Okay, and so then we have the data mesh. This becomes just a void mesh. You're not yelling at me, but you really should be. Because like in resources, we have this color. And I wonder if I should now split these out to have like a resource trait and a component trait, because that way, but it kind of like makes sense because the data is going to be the same. It's like add resource. But I guess like let's go and like just fix and make all these errors go away. So what are you yelling at me about now? Okay, so the trait bound world methods, the void mesh is not satisfied. Okay, yeah, now it is yelling at me about that. Okay, so it's saying, hey, we need a mesh to come in. Okay, so back to here. We now need to import world methods mesh for world. You don't exist. We need to import you. Then implement missing members. Okay, so with component, this is like adding in the new components if we have it. It's going to be a self dot entity data dot insert. Now, let's just actually make this a to-do still, because we're doing the add resource is what we're caring about. So give me self dot resources dot insert the name and then the resource, which is just this resource mesh data, like that. All right, back to here. All right, just slowly going through and adding all these methods that we need. But I think that this is a good path forward. I think we're gonna find out once we get all the way to the end of this maze and like see whether or not it really is the best path forward for us. Okay, so add resource. You're gonna have to be into. And then we need a to handle a point. So it's not that, it's just a full point. Then you should be happy here. Okay. All right, so next up, into, and then just 60. Right, so now it's saying, hey, we don't have one for whatever this is. And I wonder if I need to tell it that you're a, what was it? It was a U size? A U32. So I wonder if I need to say, hey, you're a U32. But that doesn't change the fact I still need to implement this. So impl world methods, U32. World. This add resources, self.resources.insert name and resource U32 data. I mean, so far it's working. Now I wonder if I remove you and just do 60, will you figure out what type it is supposed to be? Perhaps, yeah, because it's only one choice. If I add another one that's like maybe an I32 or a U size or whatever, then I'm probably gonna have to tell it exactly what data type it is. Okay, so next up, resource names, site range. So you come into, you're gonna be an F32. So that means we have to add an F32 resource. Wait, am I doing this right? I feel like that's not where I want to do it. I want to do it here. Okay, we're doing the resources right now, so we're going to do a self.resources.insert name, and it's going to be our resources F32. Pass it the data. All right, there we go. Just slowly moving through here. Okay, so you come into, you're another F32, so this should work just fine. Okay. Into, and then, okay, so resource F32, another F32. Nice. Into another F32. Wonderful. Into, okay, and color. I think we already have a color in here. So once again, this should just work out. All right. Okay, now we have a U size. So now this is going to be interesting. Because it's not going to know which one to do. And I think that's going to be a big problem. But okay, so U size. Okay, so you're going to be fine here, but when we come back, so which one are you going to use? I don't think you're going to use the right one, or I'm not convinced that you're going to use the right one. So I'm going to actually put in the specific data types in here to make sure that it uses the correct one for us. All right, continuing on. Do we already have a mesh? We do, don't we? We do, perfect. All right, so that's adding all the resources, perfect. All right, so now we have spawn entity, and it's gonna be just returning, this is basically just like a nice thing that starts off these methods that helps out. So back into here, we're gonna have a function spawn entity itself turns itself like that. All right, so now we have this with component. We have the component names into. Okay, so here the trait bound a stir. Okay, so we need to update component names. So into string isn't exactly the same, so we need to do an impl into stir for component names. Now I have no idea if this is going to work. We're going to find out. All right, so implement missing methods. Do a match self. Consider using the static lifetime. Okay, we could try that. Okay, so you're not super unhappy with that. All right, so okay, that works then. Now you can just, don't select it. Okay, so into you. Into you. We already have the points and the insert for those, that's fine. And the rotation, okay, so into, and then you have to be an F32. I guess I have one for F32s. I think it might be one of those ones that are not implemented. I'm not completely sure. When we run it and we get it crashing, then it will tell us. Okay, so no method named get resource for this. So this is now where we get to start figuring out how we're going to extract this out, because that's going to be interesting. So I want to, for our resources, I essentially want, it's like we have the resources data. We have the cast out here. Where's the hash map? This is it. Okay, so we have the hash map for this. We have to get, okay, so pass it in the name. It's gonna get this resource data. I would love that if it would like cast it. Also, in order to cast it, we're gonna have to have the type passed in as well that we're going to auto cast it to. So let's try hub trait resource data methods. I still don't know what like the best thing, like maybe getters or lens. I don't know. I'm just sort of like throwing darts at random names to see which ones I like the most in the end. Okay, so we're gonna have a function. What are we calling this? We're calling this get. And we want to like cast it automatically too. Okay, so get. We're gonna have a reference to self. We know that we want this to have a type. And oh, interesting. Okay, so get, then based upon the type, I guess it's gonna be the name, which is that stir. Oh, and then like what to cast into is what we're really like needing to do. Ooh, I don't know if this is gonna work. Before I do it here, let's go into resource. So here's the resource. I want to be able to like get and like potentially like the cast out of here. So pub create resource cast. So we're gonna have a function, just like a standard cast, and it will probably have like a cast mute. We know we're gonna have a type T for this. So cast. We're gonna have just self, and we're gonna return a type T. So whatever we are, a reference to type T. And that's it. I'll add in the mutable cast later if this works out. Because I think for this one right now, yeah, we're okay. So the update FPS, I don't need to mutate it. We just need to read it. So I'm going to impl. What do we call this? This is the resource cast. For this was a type U32, I think. Yeah, U32. So U32. More importantly, I could do the data types in here. That could be interesting too. I guess this one is Dota 2 attitude. Hello. Okay, so for resource, implement you. Okay, so cast for this. This is where we're gonna just do this, like the cast for this U32. So if we take a look at it, it's gonna basically just be if let. I'm not gonna do anything different right now. So self U32 number is equal to self, then return the number. else. I'm gonna panic for right now. But we want to eventually do like actual errors. Okay, so if I do this, now we have this cast for U32s. So we're going to come back into the main world, and for this trait, cast, wait, this is components. I want the world. So the world methods. So we're gonna have function get resource. Self. And then I guess I don't need anything else in here. But it's gonna return a reference to type T. I think. Ooh, I don't know if this is gonna work. So what is this? This is the U32. So let's go find U32 for this. Actually, they all need it, don't they? Missing members. Okay, so here's just do the to-do for all of them except the one we care about right now, just to see if it gets it to stop complaining. Here's U32. Okay, so for U32, forget resource, we now want to do a self dot resources dot is that so we have this cast here. We need to get in resource data, don't we? Because we can cast it. And I want to remove these U32s. Yes, I know. Okay, so resource has this cast. We're gonna need to have a get in here for the data type. So we need another trait. So it's gonna like get resource data, function get self. Gonna have a type T, and we're gonna return a reference to type T. Okay, so get resource data is wrong. Maybe len. What if we do resource data lens? For type u size U32. Okay, so get with this. It's going to return. We're going to do a self dot resources dot. Okay, so we need to extract this out. So that a wrapped resource is equal to self dot resources dot get. Oh, we are gonna need the name, aren't we? Like no matter what, we need the name to get out of this because it's stored in this hash map of name and then the actual data. We just know that it's gonna be a type U32 for the casting part. Because so dot get, so we need a name. Which is gonna be a stir. For right now, let's just unwrap it. Okay, so that gives us this RC ref cell. We're not returning that yet, but we know we're gonna have to like cast it into that U32. So we are also gonna borrow it here. That gives us this ref, and we're gonna return the wrapped resource dot cast into that. Okay, so then okay, so this is going to be the resource data lens to get the resource. Here's this get resource, it's returning that. For U32, okay, so resource that get. We have not cast, it's just get. And then the name. So we do need a name in here, and then that's gonna return. So resource data, you return that. So I don't know why you're upset about that. Okay, so we need to update you. Bye. Can I just have update? No. Okay, mismatch reference, expected a reference to a U32, found a reference to an RC ref cell resource. Okay, so that's not what I wanted. Is that because I have this get? Do I have a get somewhere else? I do have this get here. So I want you to go away. And we'll do the get only through here. So now you're saying, okay, there's no get. Let's try this again. Resources.get, you, pass in the name, and it's the thing. All right, okay. So then you are upset. So we implement missing members. All right, so no more errors there. Okay, so resource cannot return value referencing local variable. Wrapped resource returns a value referencing data owned by the current function. Okay, so wrapped resource is borrowed here. So I wonder if I have to return the ref resource. And then I can just cast it easier. Oh, that's not as awesome. I would love to be able to just return this from here. Can I return value referencing local variable wrapped resource? Returns a value referencing data owned by the current function. Yeah, okay. So I wonder if this is just a little bit too much, and I can't do this. Because I'm losing the wrapped resource. Now in U32, I could actually just say for U32, it returns like not a reference, but that I can't do this trait for everything else unless it's like an owned one. But it's not going to be that. So I wonder if I'm going to have to do this where I return just a ref to the resource where I can do. No, I don't know if I can do that either. In which case, having the trait for the generics is not really all that helpful. So we're getting closer. Okay, so wrapped resource is borrowed here, and then it dies, and then this thing that's inside of it is guess is gone. I could maybe clone, but I don't think that really changes anything. I could have it be like a get owned, which would work, but then we're going to run into the same problem with the resource types that can't be cloned for one reason or another. Lord Mist, hello! So I think what we're going to have to do is update this so that we don't... I think we're going to have to just go like... We're going to have to just return... So just return the resources, data, the RC ref cell. That puts us right back where we were previously, and then this entire thing is not really all that useful for us. I want to take a look at what we had. Oh, you're not the one I wanted. That's something else. Hold on. Give me a second. What was it? It was... I'm gonna have to go to you. Find the comment again. Comments are there. No, that's not the right one. What? How did I copy that? Copy link location. Go to site. There we go. Okay, so we have the component for this. We have the get type. So get is an option with the vec t. Oh, because this is only for... Okay, so then get F32. Oh, they do ref vac in here, and then return the vector. So it's getting and casting at the same time. So what would that mean here? That would be... Yep, the voids are still happily voiding around. Okay, so we want to... we're gonna want to try to like get out of here. The resources data, we need to cast at the same exact time. So referencing that, get and cast at the same time to see if that works. I am writing this this comment here because I am gonna have to do this next time. I am running out of time. I'm changing my schedule just sort of like ever so slightly. I'm trying to end by before 8:30 every day, so that way I can go and do a little bit of exercise before I head off to work. Since I usually don't have time to go off and do that after work. So let's see. Let's go ahead and push these changes up. So flocking rust. So this is in master. We're updating for the, actually, you know what? With flocking rust, let's create a branch for this too. This is working like new BB ECS. Okay, so removing errors. It's not really much that I'm pushing in there. The big stuff that we're doing is in BB ECS. So we are storing resources and getting them out nicely. All right, I'll push that up. I should have the components. No, the links to the GitHub repos like down below, and the well, that's if you're watching on desktop. Otherwise, I think I have a link to my GitHub somewhere. I can always head over here. Here is a link to the BB ECS that I'm doing. And if you're watching a VOD, I have a link to that in the VOD as well. So that's going to be the end of today. Tomorrow, we're going to go and continue trying to like switch over to this new system. If I'm unable to like figure this out by the end of the week, then we're just going to call it like, yeah, we'll figure it out some other time, and we'll just move on to the next thing.